Hello everyone, my name is Priyanka Gar. I am from SIRT College. Today we will learn about ISO and OSI model. So let's start. ISO and OSI model. ISO stands for International Organization of Standardization, and this is a model for open system interconnection and is commonly known as OSI model. And the ISO OSI model is a 7-layer architecture. It defines 7-layer or level in a complete communication system. Here you can see in the diagram, there are 7 layers. These are the host layer, and these are the media layers, and these are the 7 layers. So it is a 7-layer architecture, as I already told you, with each layer having a specific function to perform. All the 7 layers work collaboratively to transmit the data from one person to another easily. So moving ahead, ISO and OSI model architecture. This is the architecture where application is the sender and the physical layer, and all the layer are receiver layer. These three of uppermost layer are called software layer, and these bottom layers, 3 layers are called hardware layer, and the transport layer is called heart of OSI model. Physical layer. The physical layer is the lowest layer of the OSI reference model in is the physical layer, and it is responsible for actual physical connection between the devices. So the physical layer contains information in the forms of bit, and it is also responsible for transmitting individual bits from one node to the next node. When the receiving data, the layer will get the signal received, and it will convert it into the 0 and 1 and send them to the data link layer, and they will put the frame back together in the form of hub, bait, repeater, modem, cables are the physical layer devices. So this you can see here, it is the bit in the form of bits 0 and 1s. And the next layer is data link layer. It is also called DLL layer. The main function of this layer is to make sure the data transfer is error-free from one node to another node over the physical layer. And the packet in the data link layer is referred as frame. And also the layer is responsible, the data link layer is responsible from node to node delivery of the message. The next is network layer. So network layer works for the transmission of data from one host to the another host, or another located, or we can say either located in different networks. It is also take care of packet routing, that is selection of the shortest path to transmit the packet from the number of routes available. So it will always choose the shortest path distance for the delivering of packets. So the sender and the receiver IP address are placed in the header by the network layer, and segment in the network layer is referred as a packet. It is called the packet form. This you can see here. Now network layer is implemented by networking devices such as router. So next is transport layer. Transport layer provides a service to application layer and takes service from another network layer, or we can say that network layer. The data in the transport layer is referred to as segment, and it is responsible for end-to-end delivery of complete message. And transport layer is also provide acknowledgement of successful data transmission and also retransmit the data if error is found. As I already told you, transport layer is called as heart of OSI model, in which data in the transport layer is called as segments. Next is session layer. So session layer is responsible for establishment of connection. It will establish the connection between sender and receiver and maintain the proper session. The connection will never break in this session, and also authenticate and also ensure the security of the packets or delivery message. In this layer, the message which deliver here from sender to receiver. Next is presentation layer. So presentation layer is also called as translation layer, in which the data in the form data form of the application layer is extracted here and manipulated as per required format to transmit over the network. In this, translation will do data will in the form of data translation and encryption and decryption of data. The data description translate the data into another form of code. The encrypted data is also known as ciphertext, and decrypted data is known as plain text. And a key value is called encrypting as well as decrypting data. Third is compression. So it will reduce the number of bits that need to be transmitted on the network. Then the last one is application layer. So application layer, it is called very topmost layer and of OSI model. And we find the application layer which is implemented by the network application. These application provide the data which has to be transmitted over the network. This layer also serves as window for the application services to access the network and for also displaying the received information to the user. For by taking an example, application layer is like browser, Skype Messenger, and etc. And application layer is also called a desktop layer. So thank you everyone. Stay tuned and keep learning with SIIT Bhopal.